Dodos, great XP at lower levels. At higher levels, they're really, you know, it doesn't really matter. But at lower levels, you are now the reason why the dodos went extinct. Trust me. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Flinger Foo here, and welcome to a new series called The Beginner's Guide, Ark Survival Evolved Edition. Okay, I've seen a lot of stuff going around exactly about how people should jump into the game. People, you know, they just purchased the game. They have no idea of how to get it started, okay, or of how to start in the game, because it is a rather relentless game when it comes to survival, which is good. That's great. Okay, so I'm going to go over a few things with you. First, you could join an Ark. One of the two. You could search for sessions, whatnot. I have mine set for LAN sessions so it doesn't open up a whole bunch of search stuff. Alright, but you go through the list of servers, you find one that you like. Cool, join it. If you don't like that idea, if you want to learn how to do it solo, that's what I'm going to cover. Okay, so host local, that's what you click. Okay, up here, if you downloaded the center map, you should have the center right there. Okay, or otherwise you would just have the Ark, which is the island, which is the original map for the game. Now, how you get the center, you go onto Steam, and then you, just in the search bar, search Ark Center, and it'll take you to the downloadable content. It's free DLC, and you just install it that way. That's how you get that. Okay, so now we're going to set up a game. I'm going to go through all these settings. I'm going to show you exactly what they're for. Okay, most of them are just exactly what they mean, all right? Enable proximity chat. That's when you're close to people. Okay, no tributes download. This means that you can download dinosaurs and other characters from other servers onto this server. All right, and then let's see, third-person camera. That's exactly what it means. Notify player left. That means that when somebody leaves the server, you'll get a message across the top of the screen that says that they left. I only have notified player joined, just in case if I want to open this up to let a friend or two play with me. All right. Difficulty level 1.0. Now this, see how this is all the way up and it's 1.0. You can actually tone it down a little bit. I don't recommend it. I mean, if you're just starting out, you could go with 0.25, and that'll give you a nice, neat, round numbers. I believe level 30 is the top level then. All right. I always go 1.0. Why do I go 1.0? Well, I like a little bit of a challenge. That makes the dinosaurs are max level on the center map. That means they're level 150. On the island map, means they're level 120 is the max level dinosaurs. If you're just starting out, I would recommend starting that at 0.25, and here I'll type it out just so you know. It's 0.25. It looks just like that, and then you hit enter, and it'll move the bar just to where you want it. All right, I'm gonna crank that bad boy all the way up now. All right, allow flyer carry PvE. This is very important. All right, you want that checked. So where as you progress through the game, if you get a flyer, you can pick up other dinosaurs with your flyer. All right. Most of the stuff, hardcore mode. Don't check that unless you want hardcore mode. What basically that means you have one life. When you lose that life, you start over. Don't have that checked when you're just starting out. PvE mode, yes. In solo, it really doesn't matter. It just means that you can't damage other players, and you know, can't damage your own dinos when you're with a stray swoop of a tail. All right, enable crosshair. I like the crosshair. Why not? Force no HUD, no, not worth it. Show map player location, yes. This one's kind of important. On the regular PvE servers, on the official servers and the PvP servers, they usually don't have this checked. So you don't have any clue where you are other than learning the landscape, which is cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, that is cool. But yeah, and enable PvP gamma, if this is unchecked, on the PvP server, they cannot use their gamma commands, which is kind of important, you know, because in PvP, gamma can be considered cheating by a lot of people. A lot of people it's not, a lot of people it is. Some people are on the fence. Personally, I don't play the PvP server, so it's really none of my business. All right, max structures in range, doesn't really matter. 6,000, I think that's the default. All right, day cycle speed. I always go with a 1.0 on this, all right? Day time speed, I slow it down a lot. So where there's a lot more daytime. Why? So where I have more recording time. But a lot of people might, want to say, go with a shorter daytime or a longer. But just remember, the lower the number, the longer the day is. All right? Just like down here, nighttime speed. The larger the number, the shorter the nighttime speed is. All right, dino damage 1, player damage 1, structure damage 1, player resistance 1, dino resistance 1, structure resistance. Structure resistance I always have maxed up because you don't want that one stray dinosaur coming in and just destroying your stuff. All right, I mean, it still will destroy it, but this gives you a little bit more time to react. All right, and that's the reason why I have that. XP multiplier, I turned it up to 6. A lot of people turned it up to 10, 20, everything like that. You'll notice that, let's put this to 1 and see what happens. See, when XP multiplier, and you crank it all the way up this way, you can only go to 3. So you actually have to type it in and then hit enter. And then it sets it to 6. Just like with taming speed. Taming speed, I go to 8. Well, knocking the dang thing out is the tough part, right? The tough part shouldn't be, how many berries can I stuff up its butt while it's unconscious, So that's that's my position on that. All right, harvest amount, 8. That's actually the highest I've ever went. Normally I go about 4, sometimes 6. That just means that whenever you hit a resource, you're going to get 8 times the usual amount of resources. Like I said, this is the highest amount I'm going for, but I'm going for a beginner's guide. All right, I'm trying to show everybody the tips and tricks you need when you first start the game. All right, water drink. This stuff right here is all self-explanatory. Character health recovery 3.0. This is not while in combat. This is when you're out of combat and you're just sitting there. It means that you're going to regenerate health 3 times faster. I like that. It means that, you don't have to force feed yourself a bunch of food to get a ton of health back, but you're still going to need to do that. It just doesn't mean that you break a leg and all of a sudden you're dead for the next 5 minutes and it destroys your gameplay for the next 5 minutes. You're still going to encounter that, but you'll get out of that situation a little bit easier. Dino character health recovery 3.0. I do the exact same thing because of that. All right, harvest health. Harvest health is a tricky thing. All right, say there's bushes in the game, bushes that you harvest for berries, and you walk up to it and you pick the berry by hand. Well, you do say, let's go with 10. 10 is a nice round number. Say every time you pick with your hand, you do 10 points of damage to that berry bush. The berry bush has 30 hit points. Okay, so you can pick from it 3 times. Harvest health, if you raise the harvest health, means you can pick from that berry bush more times before it gets destroyed. I always go 1.0 because, yeah. PvE structure decay period 1. Resource respawn period 0.5. The shorter the number, the faster the resources are going to respawn. All right, we're trying to put on a show here. All right, now that I have all that up, non-dedicated host tether distance, you don't need that. Run dedicated server, you don't need that either. Those are a little bit more advanced stuff. It's basically for running a server that other people can play on. In this host non-dedicated multiplayer session, that means that, say, you have a buddy and you want to invite them into your solo game. You can do that. They have to stay within, I believe it's 100 meters, and this right here, the tether distance decides exactly how close they have to be to you at all times. It can be kind of fun. All right, so play single player, and let's get this thing loaded up. This is going to take a minute. I'll bring you guys back as soon as I'm ready to load in. Here we are. This is the first, once you load in, this is the first screen you will be met with. Okay, now to all the players that follow my regular Ark series and they say, oh no, you just deleted your save game. No, I didn't delete my save game. If you create another file and then you go to, here, I'm going to give you guys the address. This is actually a great way to have 3 or 4 different save games. All right, go to local disk, program files, x86, Steam, SteamApps, Common, Ark, Shootergame, SavedArks local. I will put the entire path down in the comments, well, down in the description, so everybody has that. But and I will explain right now how you have multiple save games in this game, because I know a lot of people are confused about that. Okay, what I do, I have a list of folders on my desktop that have exactly what save game is what. And that's, I name it. Like right now I have the one that I just moved over is SavedArks YouTube. Oh no, SoloArk YouTube. Okay, so that's my solo saved game that I've been working all this time on for my Soloing the Ark series. Now, if you take and you go to the address I just told you, and I'm going to explain it down in the description down below, if you go there and you copy paste, well, you just drag across everything in the SavedArks local file, and you drag that over to a new folder that you created, that right there is your entire save game file. The folders, everything. You put that in there, that's the save game. And then you can start up a new one, and then you can create another folder, and you can drag a new one over there, and you can have a whole bunch that way. And it's a really simple and easy way of doing it, but I know a lot of people get confused on that, so now you know. And knowing is half the battle, right? G.I. Joe? All right, so hey, this is what we're going to do, and it always tries to tell you to be Bob or Steve or Joe or... yeah, all sorts of stuff like that. I can't call it Joe because my dog's name is Joe, and he'll think I'm talking to him whenever I refer to myself. So I'm just going to go Flinger. All right, Flinger. And then we're going to, well, you know, you can get all real stylish with this guy and whatnot. I just like to make him tall. That's really about it. Leg length. Yeah. Get that up there. Upper leg. No, thank you. Lower leg. No, thank you. And then, let's see. Torso height. Hey, yeah, super ginormous tall. That is just ugly. So, arm length a little bit so he doesn't look like he's completely malformed. He just looks like he's a tall little turd. All right, and so, hey, let's, oh, let me jump into one other thing as well. Okay, now these spawn regions. They're actually pretty dang important. Okay, Lava Island. Lava Island is right here. That's a pretty dangerous place. Do not spawn there as your starting character. The first time you load into the game, you will hate the game if you spawn there. Alright, just do not spawn there. Snow South. That, I believe, is down here. Do not spawn there. Snow North. That's up here. Do not spawn there. Notice the pattern here? The dangerous areas, do not spawn there. Jungles North. Jungles North, I believe, is right here. That one can be okay to spawn at. Alright. Or, yeah, Jungles North is right here. Jungles Mid, I believe, is right here where you get a bunch of ruins. There's a lot of Spinosaurs and stuff there. I would recommend not spawning there. Jungle South can be down here. That can be okay as well. I always go Tropical Island North when I'm going to the center, and that spawns you on this island or one of these little islands right here. I like it. I think it's cool. I love this island right here. There's this little spot right there where I was playing, just messing around, and I ended up making a really big farm. It was like an old kibble farm. I didn't record it or anything like that, but, you know, I was having fun with it. That was back when the center was still just a mod and wasn't an official map. All right, so let's create Survivor. I'm going to go Tropical Island North. Name's Flinger. Really tall. Check, 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 check. And create Survivor. Okay, now this is what you're greeted with. It looks really cool, really awesome, really fun. Oh, and I'm getting dead. And that's how fast sometimes you can die. All right? That is how fast. Don't lose hope. Trust me. All right. Now I'm just going to respawn random location, Tropical Island North. Hopefully I don't meet a bunch of bugs. Okay, I'm on the beach, which is a big plus. I think I know exactly where I'm at. See this little rise right there, the cliff? That's actually good. This is right the spot that I know. All right, and first thing I always do, hit tab. All right, go r.bloom quality 0. Now look at these reflections and the bloom coming off everything. And it's gone. Hey, look at that. All right, so now that's why I do that. Okay, now the first thing you want to do when you load into the game, well, after not dying to an ant or anything else, you want to take a quick look around. All right, and then you want to walk up to the first tree you see and punch it. We're getting thatch and we're getting wood, and those are very important resources for us to have right now. Alright, now that we got that, now we have to run down. See these little stones on the ground? Pick them up. Alright, and that right there, that is a dillo. You want to avoid him and also those compies right there. Let's get away from them for a minute. If you just turn and sprint, generally you can outrun a lot of them. And the aggro range the aggro in this game is a little bit different. These carnos, the carnivores and stuff like that, if you get aggro on one and you're able to run away, seriously, and this is one of the best tricks I can show you about how to get rid of aggro, you run by another not aggro dinosaur. Say like this turtle, and they'll aggro on the turtle, which allows you to get away a lot easier. Alright, so now we're going to punch up craftables. We're going to craft a stone pick. First thing we did, alright, because that's the stone, the wood, the thatch. Gives you a stone pick, go to your inventory. I'm going to put that right down there on the bar. You just click it and drag it and set it down there. And let's see. Health, food. I'm going to go weight. Weight is very important when you're playing by yourself. Alright? And then, from there, we're going to open this engrams tab right here. Open engrams tab. Learn the stone hatchet, the stone spear, and close it up. Because that's really all we need. So now we need more wood, flint, fiber, and stone hatchet. So we need flint. So now we take this tool we just crafted, and we come over here, and we beat up this rock, which gives us flint. Oh, and also, all these little metal bits, you won't be able to use them for a while. But, trust me, you want to save them. Because they add up, and it's very important. I'm just going to take this, get all the flint I can out of this. And it's a lot. Maybe I'm not going to get all the flint I can out of this. Alright, I got all the flint I can out of that. Alright, so now we go stone hatchet. And for this we need fiber and wood. And I will show you exactly how to get fiber now. Alright, now we click that, drag that down to our bar. I'm going to go with more weight. Alright, so now we need fiber. How do we get fiber, you ask? Well, I'm going to show you after I chop down a tree. I want to make sure that I'm staying on top of my levels as I'm getting them, and I want to make sure that I'm staying on top of my gathering resources. Okay, so let's close that out. With nothing in your hand, you walk up to a bush, and you gather it. You click the use button. See that? I'm just gathered 60 fiber out of that one bush. Alright? 110 fiber. And these little guys right here, I'm tempted to tame this little guy, because he will give us XP. Now let's see how much one measureberry. If you take, these guys are what they call a passive tame. Now you will know they're a passive tame if you walk up to them like this and you see this little gray text right above it, put taming food in last item slot to feed. That means they're a passive tame. Right? There's active tames and passive tames. Now for this passive tame, you put that down into the 0 slot. And then you walk up to it. Let's see. Okay, that's actually giving him a lot of taming effectiveness. So I think we might stick with that for a little bit while we make some spears. I like to have a few spears on hand because spears do break. Alright, so let's take that. Let's put that down there. And while that's crafting, let's keep an eye on this guy. Okay, see, like right now it's saying wait until it's hungry again. Well, it's just the time. So now you have to wait a little bit, and then as soon as he's hungry again, the gray text will turn back to blue, and then you just feed him again. You just press the 0 button right next to him. But we're going to need some more measure berries. See right there, it changed. Need more measure berries. So we're going to go get some more while we're waiting. It's not going to take that many measure berries, but it's going to take a few. And this guy's going to give us what this guy does. He's just a little, he doesn't do much, but he gives you an XP boost. All right, and the XP boost really doesn't do that much unless if you're lower level. So at lower level, it's kind of important that you tame him. And I was kind of theorizing in my Soloing the Ark series about if you got one of these guys at lower level, how good would they be? So I guess now I have the chance to figure that out. So let's feed that guy again. He's coming along rather nicely. Let's open up a spear just in case that Dillo decides he wants to come over. Alright, and I'm going to get this guy tamed. Now we'll bring you guys back after he's tamed. See you then. Here we go. This should be the last one. Ah, see? And it's really easy. It really is. Okay, this is a female Lystrosaurus, so I'm going to call it, well, Bob would be a weird name. And I always usually go with my first dinosaurs to be Bob, so I'm going to go not Bob. She's not Bob. Right? She could be all sorts of different names, but Bob is not her name. Alright? She is clearly not Bob. See, it says so right there. Not Bob. Alright? So, don't get confused. That is not Bob. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so now that we have our first dinosaur, and that we have one of these things. Okay, and let me explain just a few things with this. See, when you come up to it and it says S, pet it. Pet it. Oh yeah, it dances. Right, and when it dances, it gets this little green thing above its head, the arrow. That means that it's giving you an XP boost as long as you're within range. Okay, so that's the theory that I was working on, is I'm going to try to make this see exactly how well it helps us in the long run. All right, so I think that's going to do it for this first episode of Soloing the Ark Center Edition Beginner's Guide. All right, and the Dillo's getting really close. Okay, the last little bit, let me show you how to take out a Dillo. All right, this is how you take out a Dillo because you're going to have to fight them. All right, you come up to them, they'll spit, and you spin. You just sidestep out of the way, and you stab them in the face, and you back up. And that's it. Just remember, when they spit, they'll flare up their face, and then they'll spit this green goo at you that makes it so where you can't see anything. So you want to get out of the way of that. And it also snares you. You don't like that. We don't like that. We don't like that at all. All right. And then also, one last thing for the first step. Dodos. Great XP at lower levels. At higher levels, they're really, you know, it doesn't really matter. But at lower levels, you are now the reason why the dodos went extinct. Trust me. All right, so that's going to do it for this episode, and tomorrow I will come up with, we are going to discuss building our first little shack to log out. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, this is Flinger Foo saying, hey, take it easy.